Good evening to all. So we had a very good introduction about JavaScript evolution and how the browser engine is working and how JavaScript engine is working, what is the functionality of rendering engine, etc. Right. So our next target is understanding object-oriented JavaScript. Nowadays, every web programmers using jQuery and Bootstrap and Knockout.js, etc. Lot of third-party libraries. The reason why they are using this type of library is they are very much flexible to use, right? Very easy to use that. So what is the popularity of these type of libraries? The thing is, when they developed that type of libraries, they have followed object-oriented pattern. That is why this is very flexible, and that is why it is very popular. Okay. Let us take an example of one jQuery library, jQuery input. How many of you have used this jQuery token input library? No. Okay. So this library is working like I type some letters here. I'm getting some values. Okay. Suppose if we have a requirement to modify this behavior, not the behavior, you need to place one checkbox beginning of this result, that list. How you can do that?
We will search for a new library that has that checkbox.
Yes. Why you are search for that type of libraries?
It's just because that is when we check it, we couldn't understand anything, and then we will try to modify it, and we fail, and then we look for some other libraries having the same functionality but with a checkbox.
Okay, but I won't be like that. So in this session, we will check how we can understand these object-oriented pattern in JavaScript. Okay. Yeah, sure. See, this is the code of that token input JS library.
So it has a function but no name, and
Yes.
before function there is a bracket. Okay.
What is this usage?
You have to explain to us.
Sorry. Okay. So if you go down of this code, you can see that lot of things like this is one type of function, and this is one type of, probably you know that this type of functions, right? So we will check all these things in our in my section. Okay.
So you will teach us how to edit that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. So in this session, I have included JavaScript object, JavaScript function, self-invoking function, what is prototype, and advanced JavaScript. The first four things just to confirm our understanding. Okay. And how we can do object-oriented programming in JavaScript, I will explain in this advanced JavaScript session. So normally you will have a question. What is object? Everybody working with other object-oriented languages. So what is an object? Any answer?
Instance of a class. JavaScript doesn't have a class. Instance of a class.
Okay. So you are telling based on classical approach, right?
Yeah.
So what is the problem of that object? Once we create an object, what is can you modify that object, or you can add any functions or method there? Is it possible once you create an object? Sorry?
So check in a classical approach whether we are able to modify it later. That is, add more
Yeah, if you want to add
properties.
any properties or methods, is it possible in classical based?
We cannot change that. Okay, I got that.
That is the beauty of JavaScript object. In JavaScript, objects are dynamic. Okay, once you created an object, you can modify as you like. If you want any further methods or properties, that is possible in JavaScript. Okay, there are three categories of objects in JavaScript. One is native objects, and second one is host objects, and third one is user-defined objects. Native objects are derived from base object in JavaScript, and which are string, numbers, math, etc. Okay, so this can be used like this. Then what is host object? What is the difference? This is also derived from native object. So what is the difference? Host object. Host objects actually provided by browser engine to JavaScript engine when a page is loaded. Okay, that is why we can use this document.getElement by method to fetch an element from the HTML document. How many of you know that? Document.getElement by ID method. Okay. Then next one is user-defined object. User-defined objects is a copy of native objects, and we are doing some modifications to that object, like adding properties and methods to that object, and finally it will becomes a user-defined objects. Okay. Next thing is, there are two common ways how we can create objects in JavaScript. One is object literal, and second one is object constructor. Object literal is a key value pair which will be separated by comma and wrapped with a curly bracket. So first we will check one sample of that, and then we will discuss about the object constructor. Okay. And another thing is, you need to remember that I will be following a mobile class, and which will have a child class like Android and Windows. Okay. So this is the example of object literal. I have var keyword and a variable name equal to, and open a curly bracket, and this is the property, and this key value pairs separated by comma, and finally closing the curly bracket. Sorry. Oh. So is it okay? That's not working. Okay, so this is one of my object, and I have methods, properties like model, type, IMI, and in this document dot write, what I'm doing is I'm just calling that property here, font1 dot model. This notation is called. This is a dot notation, and this is the bracket notation. I will have a bracket, and I'm specifying the property name inside of that bracket. Okay, this is how we can call the properties of object which created using object literal. Okay, so this is font12 is same representing same font object, and I have same properties here, and I am using dot notation and bracket notation to call this. Okay, this is clear.
Literal, right?
Object literal.
So this method is not possible in C or other languages, whether we can create an object in this way?
No.
No. Okay. So here we can create an object in this way using parentheses. That's
Yes.
a specialty.
Yeah.
And we can use that notations, dot notation and
Bracket notation.
Okay. So notation is something that is suggested to use, right?
Yes. The next one is object constructor. Object constructor in JavaScript, functions are objects. Okay, when you call a function with a new keyword, it will serve as a constructor. Okay, we know to create an object, constructor is must in other programming language also, isn't it? So how we can create object constructor means we need to define a function and use new operator to call that function, then finally it will create a object. We will check one sample for that. In this sample, I have defined a function like the function name, and these are the properties, model type, IMI, and I have some default values there, and I am initializing new variable font1. Okay, and then I am printing it, and I have created another variable and just modifying that properties values here. What would be its output? Yes.
We have a function mobile. It doesn't serve any function. It has some values assigned to some variables.
Yes.
Using this. Okay. And created an object font1 using the new keyword, new mobile. So the font1 will have all these features like model type and IMI.
Yes, sure.
Okay, and then you printed it. Font1, that is as we created an object font1, so we can use font1 model. Font1 type also work, right?
Yes.
Okay, and font1 dot IMI, so it will print those things. Okay, then font2 another. Android and this thing, and second one,
okay,
iPhone will get printed.
So we'll check what would be its output. Yes,
it is simple, right? We all got it.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
The thing is, we have created that objects from same class, isn't it? And I created two instances of that class, and I modified one instance class properties, but it doesn't affect to other object. Okay.
If we create another object font3 using new mobile, it still has Galaxy Nexus, Android, and
still has Galaxy Nexus values.
Okay, and even if we printed that, could you please show that? At the end, just type in where font3 is equal to new mobile. Okay. Okay. No modifications. Then you are font3. Okay. So it should print Nexus, Android, and that IEMI. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Okay. This is two common ways how we can create objects in JavaScript. This is clear? Yes. Yeah. Yes, it's an object. Actually, this mobile is a
Constructor. It acts as a constructor.
constructor. In JavaScript, function will act as a constructor when you using new operator to call that function.
Okay. So
We will check more about that in later in the session. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. The two approaches, you know, I will explain that when I am explaining that jQuery token input. So it will be more clear about that.
okay.
Is it
So,
okay?
so the question is about that is why do we have a method like object literal and why do we have a method like object constructor?
Yeah.
It is up to them. They just decided that way, right? You carry on and you just explain it at that time. This is a very good question. Okay, you should answer it
Yeah.
before you leave.
Yes. Common ways. There is another uh, method is like object.create, but it's supporting only modern browsers. So we are talking about only the common ways. And next we are going to talking about what is JavaScript functions.
Major section that we have some clarification because we had seen function name earlier, but you had shown different function without function name, and
Yes.
then this is before.
Yeah.
So those things need to be clarified.
So in JavaScript, functions are objects. We can have methods, properties, and even we can store it into another variable. And as I said before, when you using new operator, this function serve as a constructor. Okay. There are two type of functions available in JavaScript. One is named functions and second one is anonymous functions. What is the difference between these two?
Function will have a name, anonymous will not have a name.
We will check that. This is the syntax of how we can define named function and anonymous functions. Okay. Named function will start with function keyword and follows function name. And this function keyword is known as function declaration. In the case of anonymous function, this is not a name, this is just a variable. And we are just assigning function to this variable. And we will check one example and we will understand what is the difference between these two. Sorry? That we,
It will be called in a different method.
this is the sample. I have a function declaration here and I called this function call here and here. So whether it will work or not.
So there is one function call you made before the declaration and one function call after the declaration. First one will show an error. Because that is in 1995 when I was doing JavaScript.
Okay.
It should work because that is, we may define the functions in the end and we might be calling it in the top. So I think that is both will work.
Okay, we can check. Both worked.
Yes.
And
Okay.
I'm going to run anonymous function call also. This is same code, but we have assigned that function to a variable, and same way we will call that make call and make call. Yes, definitely there. No result. What? There is one answer?
This is an error.
Yes. Why? Why it happens like that? In the case of named function, when JavaScript interpreter starting to parse the scripted content, what it will do is there is one special feature called hoisting. Because of that special feature, JavaScript engine first will check for the named functions, and if it is found, then it will move to the top of the scriptlet tag. The thing is, JavaScript engine will pause each line and executing it. So when it started to executing here, it will create an object of this function. Okay, that is why it is available before the declaration and after the declaration.
Now we know
But-
about JavaScript engines more. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So
But-
so all the JavaScript engine will do that hoisting.
Yes, sure.
So that is like that is whenever it get executed, all the functions with name will be from that code. It will be taken to the top of the
Top
code,
of the function.
and objects will get created
Created.
initially itself before rendering the remaining part.
Yes.
Okay.
But in the case of anonymous function, that was just a variable, var, make call, then function declaration. So what interpreter will do, it will pass that line only when the pointer is reached to that var is equal to make call.
Hoisting is something that make this different. That is, hoisting happens to named function, but it doesn't happen to anonymous function.
Yes, yes, correct. Okay, yes. Like this.
See, if you have two JavaScripts,
Okay.
external JS files, and you have two.js having the function make call, all right? So you will have to call make call after make call has been declared. Is that correct? If you do an external JS.
You calling this external JS before this?
Yeah, just think about calling jQuery.cookie ahead of jQuery,
Okay.
right? So there has to be a pattern, right? Where you first declare the function and then you call the function. But in this case, it's working fine. So I want to know like why.
Actually, I didn't get that point clearly.
Okay. See, when you write jQuery.js,
Okay.
you include jQuery.js first.
I just want to confirm where you are defining that jQuery link. I mean script link.
No, just take a normal head tag
Okay.
where you give jQuery.js
Okay.
and then you give a jQuery.cookie.js because you are extending jQuery with cookie.
Okay.
Correct? So in this case, you have to first define make call first and then call make call. Right? So there has to be sequence.
Okay.
Correct? But in this case, even before defining make call function, you are calling a make call and it's working perfectly fine. My question is, how does that work?
That's clear from your explanation, I think, because in jQuery and jQuery.cookie, we are seeing most of the functions are anonymous. They are not named functions. Only for named function this will. Pardon? In the jQuery file. But I'm feeling that in the jQuery library file itself is an anonymous function because there is no function keyword in the beginning, the whole library. So that's the reason it doesn't execute. That from my understanding.
Actually, that's what he explained. Because of hoisting, that make call will available on the beginning of the script area. Actually, hoisting means if you declare any variable or function, you will get it on top of that declared function. That means, actually, explaining is a bit problem for me. Is it possible for like consider that you load another script to Ajax.
Okay.
You have the scriptlet where you have called make call. Assume that you use JS to load another library after that,
Okay.
probably at the end of the body. And in that, if you have some function, and if you try to call, probably then it won't load because the script is not loaded yet. You don't have something called ready, right? So what a friend here is assuming is that any number of scripts that you load, will the interpreter load all the scripts? Say you load multiple scriptlets.
Okay.
Will all the functions from every scriptlet will be hoisted?
No, each.
Each block, say assume that you have 5 different scriptlets.
Okay.
Script blocks. You have 5 different script blocks, and each one, let us say, has a couple of functions.
Okay.
Now, when this page loads, will all 10 functions be hoisted, or does it happen once the entire DOM gets loaded? You getting it?
No. First, our JavaScript interpreter first will check all scriptlet tags, and it will execute all those first.
But what about loaded function? For example, his example that he mentioned was jQuery library and another jQuery extended library. 2 libraries loaded.
So whether that also gets hosted or only something that you mentioned directly. So that is something.
The example that our friend here.
Yes.
Yeah. This is how actually the Coffee DBG should happen. It is an output interactive session. It should not be like one person coming and taking a session. It's really good. So do you have any explanation for that? So Praveen, I hope that Praveen will show us. Okay, he will try to explain.
You press this. Okay. This. Is not.
So let's recap about what we discussed so far. So what are things that we discussed? Initially we talked about
JavaScript objects.
JavaScript objects. Is there any other questions related to JavaScript object? Everything, he told that everything in JavaScript is an object. Is it right? Okay. Then there are 3 types of JavaScript objects.
Native objects.
Native objects,
Host objects.
host objects, and
User-defined objects.
user-defined objects. Okay. Then
we discuss about how we can create JavaScript
yeah,
objects.
how we can create JavaScript objects. That is by literal, and object constructor. And right now we have defined, we are trying to differentiate between that is a named function. Okay, then we came to functions, named function and anonymous functions. Now we are, and he explained about a concept called hoisting. Hoisting is something like, that is JavaScript interpreter will take all the named function to the top of the code and initiate the object, and so that it will happen. That is, even if it is declared after that, we can call it before. And our friend was against that. He was telling that that should not happen. And I won the game, and he is not happy with that. So he is objecting.
Why what? This one. Actually, this function, JavaScript can see this function. That's the default. But in case of anonymous function, JavaScript can see that in next time. Actually, when it sees that make code function, they usually that this make code variable will host to here. Time define, because there is no part. That part. So when it is like make code, time define.
It's just like we have a question that is not fully answered, and it need to be answered by end of the day.
Yes.
No, that should be clarified. Okay, that is after that. Let him continue with the session, and you are okay with the explanation? Okay. Okay. Yeah, or related to hosting. Okay, that's fine. So if there is any questions, we can continue after the session. Status is resolved. I'm not sure that is everyone, for everyone the status is resolved. Convincing. Okay, that's fine. Then let's continue. So it is not like everyone knows everything. That is, we are just trying. That is, people are coming forward and taking session, and we are just sharing knowledge. And if we have some questions that is not clarified, we will together search for it and identify the output. That's all.
Okay. There's a difference between function declaration and function operator, which we already discussed. Okay. So next we are going to discuss about self-invoking functions. Self-invoking functions are just functions which can call itself. Okay. This is the syntax of how we can define self-invoking functions.
We had seen this.
So this is the top of that jQuery input library, because all the static methods should be available when that library just used in the top of the HTML document.
Okay, so if we put a parenthesis just before and after the function, it will be self-invoked. That is, it need not be called anywhere, right? So whatever defined in that will automatically get executed when the page runs.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay. Sorry. Oh, okay. So next, the most confusing and very special feature of JavaScript, prototype. Prototype is a property of functions. I said.
So we don't need to confuse it with prototype library, right? It is different.
No, you don't think about that, because all these libraries are written based on these basic patterns. So just leave all those libraries. Then how we can just understand how we can create these type of libraries. Okay. So prototype is a property of a function, and I said functions are objects. So If you create an object, there will be a default prototype.
Okay, so a prototype is a property of a function object. So it is something like that function name dot prototype. That is we can call. So the property of an object, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And the use why we are using prototype? Prototype we are using to define methods for our class. Okay. And one of the specialty of the prototype is when we define a method, it will share a common memory. I mean, create once in a memory, and for all objects, it will share that memory. This is a sample of mobile class, and I have a constructor and model type variables and send SMS function. And here, I'm using prototype property to define may call function. And this is the syntax of how we can create a function using prototype.
Means it is just like you have a function initially called mobile. That is a function mobile, but this is or where mobile is equal to function that way.
Function mobile.
Function mobile, okay. Then it has model is equal to something, type is equal to something. Then there is a function inside that send SMS. Okay.
May call. And here I'm creating I'm defining this may call with the prototype property.
Okay.
And the difference is when you create all these objects, send SMS function. This is how we defined as anonymous functions. Just we learned. Okay. When we define a function, anonymous function, this will be created for all objects. That means when you create all these objects, it will create separate send SMS functions for each objects. And if a function defined with the prototype property, it will share for all objects phone 1, phone 2, phone 3.
So send SMS function will be within the mobile function or outside the mobile function?
Within the mobile function.
So do we have a code to show that?
Yes, sure.
Okay. I think that will make more sense.
This is mobile class, and I have a method send SMS, and this is how we can create, make a call for this function class. And I'm creating an object and just calling make call and SMS. Okay, the difference is when you create number of objects for this class, it will share make call for each object, common memory location. If you have a number of objects, then it will create for each instance.
Mobile function has mobile is acting as a class, right?
Yes.
That is we can consider that is in the classic method. That is mobile is a class, and it has two functions. One is send SMS, and other is make call. So send SMS is a privileged function.
Yes.
That you may be explaining, and
yeah, sure.
A make call is also another function
which I created with the prototype property.
Okay, and it will be a public function.
Yes.
Okay. Since we use prototype dot make call.
Okay. I will show you an example and how and I will explain how all these things will.
And we are invoking these functions. That is, we had created a object of that mobile class. Object using dot phone is equal to new mobile. Then mobile phone dot make call and phone dot
send SMS.
Send SMS. Okay. So
can we define it inside the mobile function itself? I mean, rather defining outside.
Which one?
Yeah, that one.
It's inside of that.
Yeah. So should it always outside the
no.
function declaration?
We can create public functions inside this mobile class.
My question is that prototype dot make call can be defined inside that function mobile.
No, it's not possible.
If you want to call mobile dot prototype, it should be outside, right? This dot. Yeah.
The thing is, when you
So can we create it using this dot prototype dot make call inside that function?
no, it's not possible.
It's not possible. Prototype cannot be used inside that function. Okay.
The thing is, when you creating a function declare when you define a function, it will internally what it will happens is it will have a constructor and a prototype property from the native objects. Okay, that means this function will act as an object and it should be available to define functions with the prototype property. I will give you a watch expression of this function in the later session, and I will explain that. So this is clear what is prototype. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm using the same sample. I'm going to explain about a constructor. I said when we declare function like this, it will have a constructor. Okay. How many of you know the developer tools from Chrome? Fine, right? I have created a breakpoint here. Until this time, I'm up to this line. It will just a function. That means mobile is just a function. See, this is the watch expression of that mobile function. You can see that there is a prototype property. Is it okay? Prototype property associated with that. Okay. And when you expand that prototype property, you can see that there is a constructor. It will be automatically created. Constructor, and this prototype property is from the native object. Each object will have a prototype property.
Okay, so we use that contour to see the structure of that.
Yes. When we declare a function like this, what internally happens is it will have a prototype, and that prototype actually prototype is an object. It contains a constructor and prototype of native object also. Okay. And when you create an object of this mobile class, this prototype property becomes __ proto. And JavaScript interpreter internally using this can be in modern browsers, this can be accessible, but other browsers are not supporting that one. And the original purpose of __ proto to JavaScript engine using that prototype property.
So I hope that many of the developers are also knowing about this __ proto, right? When I use that.
Okay, this is a very simple sample of mobile class, and I have just a function declaration. I'm going to, I have created two objects here, phone1 and phone2, and we are just watching what phone1 contains. In the previous example, we have seen that when we declare just a function, we will have a prototype property, and it will have, when you expand this prototype property, we can see that constructor and default underscore prototype. Okay, and I just created that object.